Am I dreaming? I can't feel my body. It feels like I'm being pulled towards something. Hey, shit, what the hell was that all about? Must have been something I ate. Last thing I remember was gorging myself on Big Bennies. Oh, that figures. Of all people, I should know better. Did you know that there's a form of bacteria that originated in Xi'an space that's everywhere on these stations? Everywhere they go, it goes. No one cares because it's harmless to humans. It does have one unexplained anomalous effect if it comes into contact with an old, unserviced Big Benny's vending machine. It incubates, bonds with the noodles, and creates one of the most potent hallucinogens known to the verse. And some people actually go on pilgrimages to seek out old Benny's vending machines, the kind that haven't been maintained in some time, and binge on what they find inside. That's not really my style. I find space to be weird enough as it is. I've met all manner of alien races. I've stood on an entire planet made of glass and watched it rain diamonds. And I've seen bizarre anomalies warp the very fabric of space. Nah, I don't need anything to augment my reality any further. So today I've been tasked with comrade duty. We have a series of listening posts set up all around Crusader and its moons. They monitor all the traffic and flag any unregistered ships that come within its vicinity. Pirates don't like that very much, especially since it cuts off their access to Grimhex, and blocks them off from selling contraband to Crusader, and denies them access to their various drug labs, outposts, and all their hidden caches of goodies that dot the landscape of Crusader's moons. They're constantly going about shutting the comrades down, and we're constantly tasked with turning them back on. Doesn't matter to me, though. Those guys can shut them down all day if they want. I get paid by the satellite.
All systems online.
Alright, good to hear it.
Takeoff complete.
Good job, Mystery Voice.
Landing gear raised.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is open up our Moby Glass and see what missions are available. Alright, looks like we got our work cut out for us today. The most unique thing about Stanton is all 4 of its planets are found within the green band of the solar system. Usually it's a rare find just to come across one planet that's even located within the Goldilocks zone, otherwise known as the green band. That's the area of space where you're going to find habitable planets. Finding 2 planets that fall into the green zone is like tripping over a planet-sized pot of gold, finding a 4-leaf clover on your way down, and being helped up by the woman of your dreams. Discovering 3 planets that lie in the green zone of the same system means that your great-great-grandchildren are still going to be filthy rich, even if each generation lives like a Terran socialite. But finding 4? This is almost unprecedented, or at least it was at the time of Stanton's discovery. It isn't clear who found the jump gate leading to Stanton's system in the first place, but once word got around, everyone and their mother rushed here to carve out a little piece of it for themselves. This discovery couldn't have come at a worse time. It was a find that you couldn't ignore, but the UEE had already exhausted their global budget from previous expansionistic campaigns and were already beginning to spiral into an out-of-control recession as a result. So what do? They sold the planets to a series of private corporations. This kept the planets under the UEE jurisdiction, gained them enough UEC to keep the recession from spiraling any further, and placed the burden of terraforming on the corporations themselves. They get the entire system terraformed for free, stays under their control, and they get to make a huge profit off it. Plus, if they want, they can always reclaim it at any time since, they own the military. It's genius in kind of a backhanded evil way, really. Alright, enough talking, I gotta kill this guy already. I know, maybe if I use my open eye to aim, maybe that would help. Ah, finally. I've been having the worst time with those 350s lately. Gotta lead the target way better than that. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You brought backup. You know, that's what happens when you putz around too much when you're trying to take one of these ships out. Oh, looks like there's a couple of guys. Somebody must have joined in the fray. It's called self-preservation, dude. We call members of the Nine Tails pirates, but they're more like smugglers and marauders rather than actual pirates. Pirates are trying to steal your cargo, your ship, any goods they can scavenge off your body and leave you to float in space. These guys just seem to mindlessly attack on sight. Plus the real pirates you find over in the Magnus system would eat these guys for breakfast. I used to find it disturbing how all their pirates would talk with the same voice. A lot of rumors are floating around about that for quite some time. My favorite conspiracy theory went on about how they're all part of this vast army of clones based on the famous Dread Pirate Roberts, resurrected from some old hair they found off his 1,000-year-old corpse. And now some factory out there hidden in the bands of Yella is churning them out by the hundreds, all bent on getting revenge on the ancestors of those who have wronged him. Later on, we found out that members of the Nine Tails were just using a voice modulator. In hindsight, it's really kind of obvious, but I think it was more fun to indulge in the rumors. Turns out they started doing it because most of their pilots have these weak, squeaky voices that wouldn't intimidate a child. So their superiors started supplying them with these modulators and a script to stick to. One of the funniest incidences we came across was a black box recording of a Nine Tails pirate before they started using the voice modulators. The Nine Tails hailed an incoming Saber pilot and told him to turn around and walk away in his high-pitched, nasally voice while trying to inflect his most menacing tone. There was this long pause after he was done talking, which was eventually broken by the sound of the Saber pilot's laughter. After that, I think they realized they had to do something to up their intimidation factor. I love when they say that just before I blow them up. You have to be careful. This is one of the most dangerous parts of the mission. Approaching the relay and getting out of your vehicle. You never feel more vulnerable than after you've stepped away from the safety of your 23,000 kilograms of ship and take the rest of the journey on your own. You never know when an ambush is coming from some cheeky hose pail, so you always have to be on your toes during comm duty. I've encountered stray pilots who've lost their ship just waiting in here to attack you. Or they just lie and wait till after you've gotten out of your ship before they start their attack. We call that pulling a Robert Ford. You know, the coward who shot Jesse James in the back? I've even had my ship stolen a couple of times while I was inside. I don't have any backup today, so all I can really do is park as close as possible and hope for the best. First time I came across one of these satellites, I nearly messed my flight suit. They told me to turn it back on, but not how to turn it on, so I panicked and downloaded the satellite schematics onto my onboard computer. It was 5,000 pages of charts, diagrams, and technobabble. Not knowing what to do, I went in anyway, expecting to find rows of intricate lattice work of dials and glowing buttons. Nope. All you have to do is touch the screen. That's your UEC taxes in action. Unfortunately, that also means that your pirates don't exactly have to be rocket scientists to turn it back off again. Oh, everything looks good. Looks like this is a cakewalk. I shouldn't say that. I'm gonna jinx it. I went all gimbaled this time. I was getting a little sick of always going with a fixed loadout.
Stanton, aerospace. All systems online.
We're still looking pretty unscathed, so I think we're good to skip the trip to Cryastro and go right to the next comm array. Check the map. More 350s. Yeah, I noticed they say that a lot right before they shoot you in the back. Before they ended up selling off Stanton's planets, the UEE did manage to establish a small presence here. They secured enough funds to create a shipping center, security post, a couple of Cryastro stations, an ICC probe, and a series of comm arrays, all located around the planet Crusader. They intended to have a similar setup around each planet, but, you know. So there's no actual military presence here outside of the UEE assets. At the moment, they don't even have the people to spare to maintain these stations. They budgeted enough money to keep Alisar running, and there's like one person at the ICC station, and there was this catastrophic event that shut down the shipping hub, but the day-to-day operations are all done by people like me. And I'm part of the security team that oversees the safety of these stations and helps them out whenever we can. We're a local militia that consists of private contractors, or you could call us mercenaries if you want to be a dick about it. The group is purposely kept small, and there's never more than 24 ships out on rotation at any given time. I think this is because most of the pirates' new recruits consist of people who are previously contracted to protect Crusader and grew sick of the job, got tired of mediocre pay, no bacon, and like me haven't seen a woman since arriving at Stanton. It's really enough to make anyone go pirate. You know, I might just be getting paranoid, but let's go unpacking this time. I got a bad feeling about this one. Check those corners. Alright, looks safe enough. I guess I can put this away. Yeah, famous last words. When I first started doing these missions, every 1 out of 10 times I would accidentally double-click on the screen out of some misguided notion that I had misclicked it the first time. Of course, that would shut the array down and instantly brand me as a pirate. So it's a good idea to always give it a couple of seconds after you've touched the screen for the first time and see if it activated before trying again. Little tip from those who have been there. Come on. Come on. There we go.
Stanton Aerospace. All systems online.
We didn't take much damage while reactivating that last comm relay, but I'm going to head to the closest Cryastro station and stock up anyway. I could always go back to Alisar and request a new ship, you know, one that comes rearmed with a fully topped off tank of fuel, but there's one catch to doing that. Every once in a blue moon they won't have the ship that you requested available. That leaves you with nothing, since the ground crew will have already reclaimed your previous ship and dry docked it for maintenance. And if you don't have another ship at the ready, then you're screwed for the time being, or you'll end up getting stuck with something that you really don't want to be forced to use.
Welcome to Cryastro Station.
Thank you.
What can we do for you today?
Yeah, the usual. Just top me off, Jimmy.
Cryastro offers competitive rates on quantum fuel. Would you like to refill your tank?
I just told you... Jimmy. Yeah, better just to go and resupply on your own dime. After the 3.0 treaty is signed, our insurance policy with Alisar is going to change significantly, so we might not be able to just go back and get a new ship whenever we want. For the time being, best just not to get into the habit of it. For first-time users, all you really need to do is land on a pad, and they'll give you a list of options to choose from. Just choose the option or options you want to have fixed, and click confirm, and they'll go right to work on setting you back up.
Starting repairs now.
Takes almost no time at all, and most things are cheap.
Beginning fueling.
The only real expense is missiles. They can end up costing more than having to put both wings back on.
Your ship's all ready to fly.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Good luck out there, and remember, next time you're running low, we'll take care of you at Cry Astro.
I keep telling you, Jimmy, you're one of 3 stations, and I always go to the closest one.